Okay, very nice to have you. So the topic of today is quite an important topic. So it's the topic of our spiritual ignorance, yeah, and our egoism. So it's a topic of yoga and it's a topic of Vedanta. Yoga, the teacher Patanjali Maharishi, he said in one of those verses, the cause of suffering, called the kleshas, the cause of suffering. So the cause of suffering is, number one, is called avidya. Avidya means not knowing our true nature, mistaken our true nature for something else. That's called avidya. It's the main cause. Our spiritual ignorance is a main cause of our suffering. And when we are spiritually not knowing who we are, then we believe ourselves to be the body and mind. So that creates the egoism. And with the egoism, the identification with the body and mind, then come the likes and the dislikes in the mind. The mind will like this and dislike that, depending on what we think that who we are. And we are very attached to the notion of who we are, which is the body and mind. And that's why we are very afraid of death. So this is the fifth cause of our suffering, our attachment to life, the way how we think it is, which is the body and mind. So these are identified by Patanjali as the 5 causes of our suffering. Again, I repeat, avidya, ahankara means egoism, raga dvesha means the swinging of the mind between likes and dislikes, and the fear of death, which I forgot the Sanskrit name. So today we only talk about the 1 and 2. So it is said, according to Vedanta, and the way how Vedanta teach, Vedanta is a Vedanta philosophy about the nature of the self. The way how Vedanta teach, it says that you have to listen first to the scripture and to the teacher. It's not like you can learn from your mistake. Of course, you can learn from your mistake. If you do something and then it creates pain to you and then you think about it and you say, no more. Okay? But then you do something else and again you stumble on something else and again you create pain to yourself and to others and you say, no more. Okay, so that way of learning by your own experience of trial and error is possible, but it brings a lot of pain and a lot of waste of time. So the Vedanta philosophy, Vedantic teacher, they say the method is basically is a upside down method. Is number one is you need to listen to the wise people, listen to the teachers and to the scriptures. There are 2 sources of knowledge. The scriptures, the authoritative scriptures about what is the nature of the truth, what is the nature of the self. And you need to listen to the teachers that have experienced it, they have walked that path, they have experienced it, and they passed it on to you. So the teacher or the teaching tradition. So they say you are not the body, you are not the mind. You are Satchidananda, Atman, you are the eternal spirit. Your true nature is absolute consciousness, pure consciousness, that never come, never go, never die, never disappear, is a substratum of everything. And you are the silent witness behind all phenomena. That's the scripture said. The nature of Sat, the nature of consciousness, Chit, and the nature of bliss, absolute. So that's what the teachings say. But you don't feel like that. You feel that I come and go, this body is here, this body is not there. I know sometimes, but I know external objects, I know things that changes, and it's not really the truth about myself. So I'm sometimes conscious, sometimes unconscious. And Ananda means sometimes I'm happy. If the condition dictated by my mind are there, then I'm happy. If something lacking, missing, then I'm unhappy. So our happiness is condition, coming, going, and it's not, we don't have the experience of our essential blissful nature. So that's our experience. So the teacher says, our problem comes from our forgetfulness or our mistaken identity, our wrong notion about ourselves. And the only way how to take care of that problem is through knowledge. So the teacher says that you are quite lucky to even hear that. You are, you have received a precious gift of nature, which is the gift of having a human body. Because the human body is different than an animal body, a cat body, a cow body, because the human body is equipped with intellect, of wisdom. Not necessarily wisdom, but at least the tool is there, the intellect, the capacity of self-reflection, the capacity of self-awareness. We're not just equipped with instinct and emotion like animal, but we're equipped with intellect, which is the gift when we receive the human body. And then you also have the desire for liberation. That means you are seeking. You are not going to seek if you are not sitting here and listen. Many of you come from many different places, and you maybe hear this already, but you listen again. So you have the desire to know the truth. You have the desire to be free. So that is a second rare gift. You have the human body, but you don't know what to do with the human body. So you have the desire because you feel inside of you there must be a truth. There must be a happiness. There must be something that is stable, not coming and going. So that's a second gift. And the third gift is you have access to the teaching. I mean, for whatever reason, the merit of your own life from past life, now you have access to the teaching. So this teaching is not something that you can find in a newspaper, magazine, or in a TV, or in anywhere in school or university. This teaching is coming to you through the guru, through the source of knowledge Yeah, that is actually, you can say that the source of knowledge comes from within you, because you have the desire to know, therefore the teaching comes to you, yeah, in forms of the guru or the guru tradition, and help you. So you have this three gifts, and that puts you on the path of knowledge. And knowledge is the only thing that can set you free, because Shankaracharya, who is a teacher of Advaita Vedanta, that's what he said. He said, you suffer from ignorance, from avidya, so the only thing that can save you is knowledge. Knowledge will set you free. It's like you have a wrong notion of something, so the right notion of something will set you free. So all the practices of yoga is to help you to purify, help you to calm the mind down. So the main thing is, the mind is when you are living in the darkness of yourself, then the mind is becoming very active. It's very restless. It go here and go there, seek this and seek that. It changes all the time. And that itself is preventing you from recognizing the truth within yourself. So all the yogic practices that we need to do in a conscious manner is only to help to calm the mind down, to make the mind a little bit more stable, so that you can practice meditation, so that you can have an idea, so your insight from within yourself will be more clear and pure. So it is said that you need to lead a life of austerity. I mean, a simple life, that you are not just running after sensual objects. And when you lead a simple life, austerity, then the mind also will calm itself down. So this is part of the condition to be able to know, to be able to have knowledge, is to have a yogic lifestyle, or, lead a life of austerity, in order for you to be able to be peaceful. The mind is ready for meditation, ready for contemplation. Then at that time, the mind attachment to different things will calm down. And then at that time, you will be able to have light, have knowledge. Okay? So it is said, our condition of avidya, not knowing the truth, is eternal. It's a long time. We do not know when it started, but we know when it ends. Yeah. So that means you cannot really use your mind to try to figure out the history of everything, when everything started and all these things. It's not necessary. You need to focus in the present and meditate. So the process is, you need to meditate on the scripture teaching and on the teacher's teaching. Okay, scripture is like an ocean, it's huge. So much to study, you don't know what to study. It is at the teacher, it's like you have a banquet, the table full of food, good food. And you're going to try this and to try this and everything you want to try. But the teacher is the one that knows what you need. And the teacher will take a plate and will go to the banquet table and take this piece and that piece and this food and that food and mix it and put it on the plate, so then, and give it to you, and sometimes spoon feed to you. That means the teacher will sort it all out, what is important, and then you have the the trust and the faith in the teacher, and then you just take whatever that the teacher presented. It's not that the whole truth, but the teacher already have systematized, have understood what is important, and then feed you. Yeah, and then you just have to follow it, and then you get there. So I can say it like that myself. I've been on this path for more than 40 years, and the only thing I do is to follow the teacher teaching. And that's all I do. I practice and practice and practice. I don't have to worry too much of reading this and reading that and try to find for myself this, that too much. It's not like I'm narrow-minded or I'm not intelligent. Yeah, but I know I trust, I have a faith that what is important for me to know, yeah, is there, and I just have to follow the system. And that's what I did for 40 years. And I can see to you that my mind become much, much clearer. Sometimes I don't read books, all the books of the scripture, and even the book of Swami Sivananda. He wrote so many books, and book learning is not really helpful, right? You have to learn also to practice and to know what is important and not. And after so many years of practice, I can tell you so many things I know, I don't know how I know. Yeah, because it's a process we call it purification. Yeah, it's not putting more addition information in the mind. Sometimes you have too much information in the mind, it's all confusing, and then this and that, all very discarded and very fragmented, and you don't have a picture. So the most important thing is to have a balanced life and to know that you don't know, and then to start practicing. And then the practice needs to be precise. You need to know what to do, not just mishmash everything else. And then you get yourself confused and distracted. And then eventually that purification process is happening, and then things become clearer from within yourself. Yeah. The teacher is only helping you, but from within yourself, you will find the clarity. And, so the process is, first you have to listen to the scripture, to the teacher, and the teacher doesn't contradict the scripture. Yeah, all teachers teach the same, and it doesn't contradict the scripture, thousands of years old of knowledge. Yeah, but you have to follow the teacher. Yeah, you have to follow a system. Okay, so that's number one. And then number two, whatever that you have heard, yeah, you have to think about it. Think about it. You have to think about it. Yeah, so you have to apply in your life, and you have to think about it. So I have thought about it for a long time. Sometimes, one line of teaching, and I think about it and think about it and think about it, and then eventually one day, without me thinking about it, it started to become clear. All of a sudden, oh, okay, I understand now what's the teaching. Yeah, it takes some time. Is the translation okay there?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Because Dayachina said it would be nice to slow down a little bit.
Okay. So I can slow down. The translator say I speak too fast. Okay, I slow down. So if you need me to slow down, you do need to tell, okay? And raise your hand, because I can read. So okay. So the process. The process again is know that you don't know, seeking the teacher that knows. The teacher does not contradict with the teaching of the scripture, but if you tune to the teacher, with your mind and heart, then things will come to you. And you would think, you have to think on your own also. You have to think properly so that you can apply in your life. And then, you understand it. And don't jump to conclusion, don't be proud. Yeah. And then you just continue. And then eventually you would meditate. The number 3 process is you meditate. You contemplate and you meditate. You meditate on the teaching. Yeah. After you do a lot of purification, a lot of thinking, a lot of studying, following the teaching, and the 4 path of yoga is helping you to purify, and then you one day you realize. Okay, so that's the number 3 process. Okay, not happening when you want, not happening when you dictate, not happening, we don't know when it happened, but it would happen if you follow the process. Okay, at due time, everything is clear, and then, things come. Okay, so knowledge is the only thing that can set you free. The practice is the practice of purification, removing of the veil over your eyes. The happiness, what you are seeking for, is not outside of you. You can run here and run there, but it's not outside of you. It's inside of you, but you have to purify, you have to remove the veil. So it's an internal process. It's not doing something externally. So when we make mistake, then we run around again in the outer world, try to accomplish this and that. Again, we go back to the same path of believing that any external action will change our consciousness. But of course, you have to do service, you have to do action that is helpful for others. Well, we call it karma yoga. But these are preparatory. But the main thing is you need to get the knowledge to see things correctly, and that will set you free. Free from what? Free from suffering. Okay, so that freedom that we're talking about is not the normal kind of freedom. It's not like I'm free, I can go here, I can go there, I can do this, I can do that. It's not that kind of freedom. Yeah, it's the freedom from mistake, freedom from suffering. Okay, is the realization of yourself that would free you from wrong notion of yourself, because we talk about yourself here, because the idea of I is the most important idea. If you have the self, the consciousness, the I, the self, is the most important idea, but the I, the self, is always mistaken to be something else. Yeah, and that is the second point of this class that I would just talk about very briefly, because the class is about avidya, which is not knowing the truth, not knowing ourselves. But the second point is about egoism, that means mistaken yourself to be something else. Okay, so, and the method of yoga is very systematic, to basically to remove the impurity of egoism, stable the mind, and help you to do self-inquiry correctly in order for you to find yourself. So all the methods of yoga is helping you to do that. So one thing it is said, in order for you to wake up and to realize yourself, you have to work on qualifying yourself. So Vedanta don't talk about doing anything to get the happiness or the true self that you want from external in. It's not the process. The process is to recognize that yourself have always been there. Yeah, the Atman is always there. But the mistake is to believe the non-Atman to be yourself. Okay, the self always there at this moment. But we always, because of mind fluctuating, and we have a long history of making mistakes, so then we keep repeating the same mistake. So the process is to recognize, to discriminate the real and the unreal, the self and the not self. So we call viveka. Viveka is to be able to discriminate or discern, between what is the self and what is the not self. So that is the first thing that you need to prepare yourself to equip yourself with that kind of discriminative intellect, that kind of thinking. Okay. And the number two is you would have to qualify yourself to be a seeker when you become disinterested in the world. Yeah. When you become detached from the unreal. That means you've been running around long time, seeking for happiness somewhere that it is not. Then eventually you have to say, okay, so I'm going to stay quiet. I'm going to put more energy into my meditation, into my practice, and that will lead me to the real, and everything else is a waste of my time. And then you don't, you don't get attached to things that were not helping you. So that is called vairagya, or that whole training in detachment. Okay? And then the different qualities of the mind that you need to acquire in order for you to see, to have insight and to see yourself correctly, to be free from ignorance, is you need to be calm. Your mind needs to be calm. Your senses need to be controlled. You need to learn how to turn within. You need to bear, to tolerate the different problems in life, so you don't get yourself upset and then, depressed and then, lose your clarity of mind. So you need to develop the strength to keep yourself calm, and then you need to have faith of on your capacity of be able to find the truth, and you have faith also in the teacher and the teaching. So faith is the important thing until you find until you have the direct experience. So, and also the last thing, you need to keep yourself very one-pointed on the process, on the goal. That means not coming, going, and losing your perspective. You need to stay very balanced and calm. So this is the qualities of the mind in order for you to see the truth, in order for you to recognize the self and to have knowledge. You need to prepare yourself, okay, to have knowledge instead of avidya, vidya instead of avidya. Okay, so vidya that come from the practice of austerity, simple life, and all this would set you free from the limitations that you feel. Okay, so because the suffering is feeling that you are more than what you are, and yet feeling very limited. Okay, you suffer from feeling that you are imperfect. Sometimes people feel they are superior. Sometimes they feel they are inferior. Sometimes they compare each other and they don't feel very good. Yeah, but all these are the symptoms of your avidya, of your not understanding who you are. So you are suffering from your own limitation and the sense that you are not really living the life that you're supposed to be living. Yeah, and you have all these negativities that are not really necessary. So we need to embark on that process of realization, and it's possible. Okay, so that is by the grace of the Guru. Yeah, everything is clear, everything will become clear, and it's possible for you to be awakened and to have the knowledge that will set you free from all this suffering, yeah, that can come from inside yourself. Some wrong thought come up, we call some karma might come up, and then the suffering that can come from the people, the relationship around you. Yeah, you expect them to be a certain way, they don't behave a certain way, you suffer. Yeah, and then the suffering that come from even the elements, yeah, from nature, from the elements, from earthquake, from war, from all kinds of things that are completely out of, you seem to be out of your control. But the teacher and the scripture promise that that you'll be free from that too. Yeah, that self-knowledge will put an end to this life that is imperfect. We call the moksha, or the liberation, will get rid of all this wrong notion. Yeah? And the first wrong notion is the wrong notion about yourself. Okay? So now we talk a little bit about the egoism, which is the consequence of the avidya. So when you don't know the truth about yourself, then you believe yourself to be something else. Is the translation okay?
Yes.
So egoism is this Swami Sivananda say is this self-arrogating principle in man. I mean, it's present in our mind, yeah, for everybody. The ego exists in everybody. Okay, it's the sense of I, yeah, separate, I, individual, separate and different than others. Okay, so it's in the mind of everyone. Sometimes you call it ahankara. In yoga of Patanjali, he called it asmita. Okay, so it's a self-arrogating principle. I mean, always you assert yourself to be separate and different than others. It's called the individuality. So there is some principle within you that all the time assert, the difference between you and others. Yeah, and what is the reason why you are equipped with such a characteristics? It's a tool, it's an instrument, yeah, in your mind. Yeah? The reason why is you need to work out your karma. Your karma is very specific, that gives you certain circumstances and certain life, and you need to work out your karma so that you will learn your lesson. The reason why you have this individuality is because you need to learn from that specific situation of yours, Yeah. So that's why you have that principle of separation, of being different. We call your ego within you. But it is there for you to learn the lesson that you are not it. You see, the ego is there in order to teach you the lesson that you are not it. So you have something that say that you are it, and you have something that say that you are not it. So that means you are equipped with the ego in order for you to work out your karma. But if you get attached to it, then it would create problem to you. So you are not using that tool properly. Okay, the ego is just a tool for you to work out your karma, but don't be attached to it, yeah, because it will trap you into future suffering. So it is that everyone has the ego, but the ego is that which separates us from our truth. Yeah. So we have to focus on removing the ego, or more correctly, on thinning out the ego. Because you remove the ego, there are some people that suffer from their own ego, their own misunderstanding about themselves, yeah, that create the suffering to themselves, and they want to, remove that ego, and they remove also their life, yeah, and but you cannot do that, yeah. You cannot remove the instrument with which you are going to liberate yourself. So the body and mind and ego are there as the instrument only. So you have to know how to do this. So that's why the teachers say you have to thin out the ego. The right word is thin out. It's like the ego putting a veil over your mind, and then you are not able to see, so you see darkness. So then you are entrapped in some kind of thought in your mind that doesn't lead you to the light, but it leads you to darkness. Yeah. So you need to thin out, yeah, that veil over your eyes. And what we call is purification process. You need to move from tamas, which is the darkness, to rajas, yeah, which is the imperfect understanding, the egoistic understanding, and then you need to come to balance, we call sattva, or purity. So that's how you thin out, yeah, the veil over your mind. And there are methods how to do that, how to remove the tamas, or the darkness, over your eyes, and how to calm down the ego, that you don't see things partially, and then how to bring in, how to nurture the purity, so that you can see things, so that you can be enlightened. Okay, so this just know that there is in you the ego, yeah, that is not the self, and you are constantly making mistake between the ego and the self, because the ego is conditional. It has a lot of condition. Yeah, always the I, affirmation of the I, but it's a incorrect affirmation. Okay, so the teacher say you need to thin out the ego, and you need to practice humility. You need to practice the idea that God knows and I do not know. So that's called humility, so that you remove the veil, so that you can recognize the knowledge within yourself. It's not like you remove the ego in order for you to become stupid. Yeah, it's not that at all. You just purify your wrong thinking. So you are wise, then you would follow that process to somehow be free from the ego. Yeah, because ego comes with all kinds of trouble, yeah, pride, lust, anger, delusion, greed, jealousy, love, hatred. Yeah, all these are all the things that come with the ahankara. Okay, it doesn't give you peace of mind. Yeah, all this will bring a lot of trouble to your mind. When the ego is there, it has a lot of desires. Yeah, it wants this, it wants that. It has a lot of enemies. It has a lot of attachment. It has a lot of desire, because you think that you will be happy because of this and that. You think that you are inferior, you are superior to other people. So all these are forms of the ego. Okay, so the false concept of self. Okay, and when you identify with that I that is connected to the body, yeah, and to the mind, because the mind and the body are together. So then when you are connected to that I, the more that you're connected to that I, you try to make that I strong, the more you make a mistake. Okay? The more you become separated, isolated, unhappy. Yeah? Like I say, Rajasic ego. Rajasic ego doesn't bring you peace of mind, or Tamasic ego. So you need to slowly stay balanced and bring more sattva in your mind. Yeah, be more accept to follow discipline. Yeah, accept to surrender the ego. Yeah, so that you get out of your own self. When you be able to get out of your own self, through selfless service and through self-surrender and practice of humility, then you eventually, the ego will thin out. So that all I can say, that it is possible if you understand first the necessity to do so. Because if you don't understand the necessity to thin out your ego, you follow the world is teaching you the opposite. The world is teaching you to make your ego bigger, fatter, bigger, so that you can become somebody. The world is teaching you the opposite. Yeah. Your family members, your teachers, your friends, everyone push you in the direction of having a bigger ego. But the teacher, you listen to or not listen to, sometimes, you are seeking, but the teacher doesn't have much weight because you listen more to your friends and to your relatives. The teacher say, no, that's not the direction. To be happy, you need to live a life of tapas, of austerity, simple life. You need to renounce the ego. You need to be functioning out of your own true self. You need to put more priority in your meditation, in your spiritual life, and you need to continue seeking your own true self. So the teacher would say something different, and you would have to listen. And you need to pay attention that I don't say that you are, you just blindly listening, you see. So that is, it's not that what I'm saying, okay? I'm saying that you need to recognize that you don't really know, and you need to be wise enough to recognize the teaching when it's there for you. Recognize your blessing also, like I said in the beginning, that you have this precious gift of intelligence, the precious gift of seeking the truth, and the precious gift to have the teaching that comes to you. So you need to recognize all this, yeah, and feel yourself to be very blessed, and start that practice of purification and of self-surrendering, surrendering the ego, yeah, so that so that your intelligence will work, yeah. So you are very intelligent, you are equipped with that, but it's a different kind of intelligence. You need the discriminative intelligence. You need the wisdom intelligence, and that is not coming with the ego. So you have to kind of renounce, or calm down. Renounce, and it seems terrible, but you need to purify, say, you need to make your ego become more pure or sattvic, thin out, yeah, calm down that anxiety of not being somebody, yeah, accept yourself, accept the inner self, accept your value from within yourself. Then at that time only you can trust, yeah, what the inner voice of yourself. Otherwise, the ego, since a very long time, has been leading you in this path of self-assertion, and you are very anxious when you don't find yourself. You are very impatient and anxious. So when you rush and then you jump into this and jump into that in order to be somebody in this world and feel more secure in this world, then you go in the wrong direction again. And you go sometime in the loop and it brings you back to the same place. So you need to, like I said, calm down and have faith, yeah, and have trust in the teaching, and learn to surrender the ego, learn to be humble, learn to follow discipline, learn to know that you don't know and it's fine, yeah, and trust, and eventually you would be on the path of knowledge. You become more stable and you become more clear, and your discernment or your intelligence from within you will be able to operate. Yeah. So you need to calm down the agitation, you need to calm down the anxiety, you need to calm down the impatience to assert yourself. You are all the time, whole and complete and full, and you don't need anything from outside, nothing you need to be worrying about. You need to relax, yeah, and have faith, and know that at due time, yeah, it will be revealed to you. Okay, and it's good for you to practice devotion, because devotion is helping the ego to thin itself out in a nice manner. Yeah, because the pure love, devotion means pure love. Pure love will help you to not to be so anxious, because you feel that you are taken care of. You feel that you are taking refuge. You feel that you are, it's sweet. Yeah, pure love is sweet, and it help you, to surrender the ego, and to trust and have faith in God, and then that's how it help you to be free from that all this preconceived idea, and to keep your heart open for knowledge to come. Okay, so devotion can help to thin out the ego in a nice manner. And the second thing is self-sacrifice. I mean, doing service to others to remove the ego. Yeah. So you have to self-sacrifice means you don't do service only when you want and whatever you want. If you do service when you want and whatever you want, it's still the ego dominating you. Okay? You have to do service when you don't want, and do the thing you don't want, and still surrender yourself to do it. So called self-sacrifice. Only at that time the ego is being calmed down. Yeah. So this whole world is a play of the ego. Yeah. So you don't want to be trapped in it, then you need to work from yourself itself. Yeah. You start work on yourself, and then you thin out the veil in your mind, and then when the veil in your own mind is thin out, and the world also would change. Yeah. So you don't change the world from outside, because you only can change it from inside. Okay. So don't try to waste a lot of energy outside, but try to turn inward and to see the way how you see. Yeah. So that you can be free. The working of the ego is quite mysterious. Yeah. If it's not mysterious, then not many teachers would take so much time, yeah, to try to help you to work it out. Yeah, it's mysterious, it's difficult. In the scripture sometimes, mythological scripture, it talk about the 10-headed ego, demon. Yeah. I mean, you remove this and another head come. You remove this, another head come. Yeah, all the time it has multifaceted, multi-heads, multi-way how to make you, how to prevent you from waking up. Yeah, and how to keep you all the time in the same kind of ignorance. Okay, so I wish you well. I pray for your enlightenment. I pray for your knowledge. I pray for your wisdom. Yeah, and this is just a little talk today, but it's something that you would have to listen to it again and again and again and again. Yeah, the words of wisdom or the teaching need to be listened again and again. The reason why is the ego again will come and say, oh, I know it already. Oh, I heard it already. I heard it one time already. I kind of know it. You see, but it's only you know it. You may be as an information, intellectual idea, but you don't really know it. You see, so the method of Vedanta is you have to listen to it again and 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 again. You have to listen to the teaching again and again and again. And when you listen to it, yeah, someday you catch some idea. Yeah, you wake up somehow a little bit, because it's like you are in a sleepy mode. Yeah, you wake up and then you forget. You wake up and you fall asleep. You wake up, you fall asleep. Yeah, so you have to listen to it again and again. So that's a process. The first thing is to listen. Yeah, and try not to argue. Try not to prove the teacher wrong or the teaching wrong, and how you are special and how you know it already. So pay attention to all these things in your mind that would prevent you from going deeper. So that's the first process, and then you need to think about it, meditate deeply, lead a pure life, and eventually you will get there. Hare Om Tat Sat. So this is the satsang of today. So now we say the prayer for your liberation. And this is a very nice prayer, because it says at due time, your knowledge will come to you. So it will protect you until then.